Hey guys, today I'm going to do a video on what to do when you find the 5 amp fuse blown in your electrical box. Here's one right here, but this is going to be a little hard to film, so what I've done was I've taken this thing apart and made one on the board so you guys can see what's going on. So let's go get into it. Alright guys, this is what I've done here. I've taken the whole electrical box and spread it out on the board so you guys can see what's going on. I had a couple trashed electrical boxes here and just took parts out of it and made one on this board right here. You'll see when I arm it, I didn't put a motor in. I put a red light in here so you're not going to be able to see the motor spin, so I'm using that. So I arm the machine, you'll see the red light come on. Not that we're going to be doing any of that today, but pretty cool. It's a little easier way to see things. And I'm going to zoom in here in a minute and we'll get on with this 5 amp fuse blowing. Alright guys, here's what we got going on right now. If you're blowing this 5 amp fuse on the machine, it just means that it's going to be something right here in this area. Keep in mind, I've seen people put 7.5s, 10s, 15s, 20s, 30s in here, even some 40s. But it should have a 5. Well, I wouldn't go any higher than 7.5. But anyway, you come in, you find this fuse blown. Okay, so it's going to be one of three things. It's either going to be the radio shorted. A lot of times I'll see the wires cut up by the lawn guys, weed trimmers, things like that. You might have a bad coil on the Albright, or if you could see here, let me get this out of the way. I'm going to pull the radio because that's part of what you can do anyway. Get this out of the way, okay. You'll see a diode across here, which is across the coil circuit on here. This diode could also be bad, and the problem with this diode is that you can't check it with a diode check on your meter. It's going to look like it's shorted in both directions, okay. It's a suppression diode. It doesn't check like a regular diode on there. So what I'm going to do now is it's going to be a little bit of a process of elimination, but since I disconnected the radio at this point, that's out of the picture, okay? What I'll do next is I'm going to pull this one lead off the coil circuit, okay? And I'm going to do an ohm check on here. So I'm going to roll this meter up a little bit so you can see it. I'm just going to ohm check it real quick. We're reading 6.7. Let me get on there a little better. Most of these are going to read anywhere between 6 and 7.5. That's fine. If you drop down below 3 ohms or so, change the Albright. The coil's going bad and blowing the fuse. Okay. So in this case, your coil circuit is fine. So now it's just a matter of, is it the radio or the receiver? I call it a radio sometimes. Or this diode blown on here. So we're not going to find out until we plug another fuse into here and turn the machine on and see what happens. Now I'm going to do all this with the radio unplugged, so it's just a process of elimination. This is going to tell us. So I'll just put these 2 spades back on here. When you ohm check this, you could just take one spade off. You don't need to take them both off, okay? So what I'll do now is I've got my battery hooked up. Here's my power leads. This is my main breaker. If this breaker is blown, you've got a bigger problem. You've got a motor problem, gearbox. The machine is locked up, something like that. It's just not turning the machine. The 5 amp protects just the stuff down here. So it's only 3 things that can happen. And also I'm barring any chances that you have some frayed wiring on the machine or something like that, which you should look over first. I mean, there really could be something else, possibly coming down from the arm disarm switch or something like that. You might have a short to frame somewhere, but I'm not going to get into that for this video because I'm just talking about what you're normally going to see out there. So anyway, we'll just pretend that I've changed the fuse. I've got this back on here. I've got radio disconnected. I'm going to go ahead and turn the arm on. And we're good to go. So I know my coil is good. I know my diode is good. Okay. If I blew a fuse at this point, I'm going to cut this diode off of here. You can buy these from Promatic. They do sell them. You could get one, solder it back on. What I would do is just cut it right here. Make your soldering job just a little bit easier. But anyway, that's about it. That's only 3 things that can cause it. If the fuse did not blow at this point, you've got a bad radio. So if you wanted to verify it, you could plug the radio back into this Hirschman plug, which is normally on the side of the box. Turn it back on, you're probably going to blow another fuse at that point to verify it, but that's what I would do. I would just check the wiring on that radio, and that's probably where you're going to find it. That's it for now, guys. We'll see you later.